come. Oh, yes, it will. Then I go to
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And we have a reverent start this morning. It's Martin Luther King Day, and playing a little Sam Cooke.
Right. You know, I went on a little Martin Luther King rant the other day on Facebook. Every year I like to go to events, you know, on Martin Luther King Day. And I'm always shocked that there are so few white people at these events, and that they're primarily organized and attended by African Americans. And I get why the African American community loves Dr. King. What I don't get is why we don't have more white and Hispanic participation. Because in my mind, he is the epitome of an American hero, not an African American hero. Well, he is that, but he's an American hero.
Indeed. And,
you know, we have a national holiday for him because he's an American hero. America is a much better place today because of that man's life. And so I kind of got on my soapbox and ranted a little bit and included a list of all the area events and said to folks who maybe don't normally go to these events to say, hey, get up this morning and go to an event. You know?
Now, the breakfast that we've been talking about that's put on by the Inland Empire Concerned African American Churches is sold out.
Yeah.
So if you didn't get your tickets, it's too late. But there are other events going on around.
Yeah, there's a wonderful event, Press Enterprise, and I think the Sun as well listed this. And they list all the events in Riverside and San Bernardino County. Reno Valley's having a Martin Luther King breakfast. Actually, they had that. That was on Friday. Sorry. Some of these are... have already occurred. There's also the in Murrieta, they have the Inland Empire Men's Club is going to have a parade at 10 a.m. today.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? I think that's a nice one. In Riverside, they have the 26th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Walkathon. It's this morning.
And that's a 5K.
It's a 5K. Starts at registration begins at 7:30 a.m. this morning.
Are you heading over? No, you have a bum knee. Never mind.
Yeah, it's at the Stratton Center. And the walk will actually begin at 10 a.m. And they'll have free shuttle rides back to the park every half hour. So, you know, if you don't want to have to walk all the way back after the walk's done. The
next one is San Jacinto. The Mount San Jacinto College will help. They're having a breakfast this morning. Starts at 7:30, and that's at the San Jacinto Campus Library at 1499 North State Street.
Now, Temecula. Has an event. Or actually, they had one. I'm sorry, that was on Saturday. Yeah.
So in Fontana, theirs is tonight or today. Ephesians New Testament Church is hosting a celebration tonight at 8 p.m. The event will be at the Fontana Steelworkers Auditorium. That's on Sierra Avenue. And this theme is an elegant evening of jazz for scholarship. Musicians Chalet Frazier and Andrew Gaucher are set to perform. Admission's just $45. VIP tickets are $100. And you can get information by going to EphesiansChurch.com.
Now, Montclair has one. It's a walk, 11th annual Miles for Montclair. It's a 5K to support homeless classmates. Students will be raising $25 each, which go for food vouchers, academic expenses, and scholarships for 256 homeless students who attend the school. The walk begins at 9 a.m. at Montclair High School.
And that's at 4725 Benito Street.
Yeah.
In Ontario, the Juneteenth Education Technology Mobile Arts Center is hosting its 18th annual Unity Breakfast for MLK. This is, of course, this morning. The event will include breakfast, live music, a keynote speaker, and an education workshop. Doors open at 8 a.m. The program will start at 8:30, with workshops following from 11 to 1. The tickets are just $38 in advance if you'd already bought them. $43 at the door, which is still a great deal.
And it's at the Doubletree.
That's at the Doubletree at the Ontario Airport on Vineyard.
Yeah. Now, Redlands already had an event. They did something on Friday night.
And that was put on by Josiah Bruni's a nonprofit, Music Changing Lives.
But they have another event today. It's called the Beyonce Mass. Now, this one, I have to be honest with you, this one I found a little I don't know. This one did not resonate with me like some of these other events did. It's a worship service using the music and life of Beyonce to open a conversation about black women. And it's at 7 p.m. It's at the University of Redlands Memorial Chapel. The Reverend Yolanda Norton of the San Francisco Theological Seminary created Beyonce Mass, which is based on her scholarship. And Norton will lead the service.
Her scholarship?
Her studies, I'm guessing that she went and researched
so
Beyonce.
Not Beyonce's scholarship.
Yeah.
Beyonce has scholarship?
I don't know. Yes.
Okay.
But
do you know that, and this, I have to say, I mean, people worship however they want, but
yeah.
You know that there's a Babel?
I know.
And there's a Church of Bay.
I know.
So I don't really know how I feel about this, but if you're into that kind of thing, it's happening.
And then the last one they have on the list here is the Rialto Black History Committee's 34th annual Dr. MLK luncheon, and that's set for this afternoon at 11:30, and it's going to be in San Bernardino at the Elks Lodge at 836. Elks Lodge number 836, which is at 2055 Elks Drive.
This is up on the hill. You get there
Yes.
off of Highland, and the street is hard to find. Like you could miss it if you didn't. If you're use your GPS when you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you go up this hill and you get a nice view of the valley.
Yes, and tickets are $55. And what I have to tell you, I've loved, and I've been to the Rialto event in the past. Obviously, we've been to the one at San Bernardino at the Casulas Arena. I haven't done the one out in Fontana before. Or the one in Ontario. But I always go, whenever you go to any of these events, you walk out inspired. They typically will have great speakers, great music, and they really spend some time talking about Dr. King and what his life meant. And it's powerful. It's powerful. I mean, it's again, he is an American hero. And going to one of those events will leave you feeling better about being an American because we have so many great people in our history. And I have to share this real quick. A meme popped up the other day that really shocked me. It was a picture of Anne Frank, Dr. Martin Luther King, and Barbara Walters.
Yes, I saw that as well.
And here's the thing that's shocking. They were all born in the same year.
1929.
Yes.
And we tend to think of them as living in completely different eras.
Yes.
And it's like, no, they were killed or not killed. Barbara Walters, of course, is alive and well, but they were the two of them were killed in completely different eras.
Yeah, but it makes you think, if Anne Frank had lived, she would be the same age as Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
If Dr. King was still alive, I mean, he could still be alive. I mean, it's you know what I mean?
Yes.
They were taken from us
These
way
aren't
too
people
young.
from far back in history, and unfortunately, because of how we teach history, or more often than not, that we don't teach history, especially in the lower grades. People tend to think they're disconnected from the past, and one of the joys of getting older is that I realize that time, those things that happen aren't as far back as we think they are. Even going back to the Civil War is really not as far back as we think it is.
No, it's not, right?
Yeah. So somebody could have been born in a slave, like say they were born in 1859, and they lived 100 years, and they had a child who lived 100 years, or 85 years, or 75 years. I mean, that's how connected we are. A person would be, so if they were born in 1856, and you added 75 years onto that, their child could still be hit with us.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Right.
Wow.
They'd be old, but,
Yeah. Old people are cool, Aaron. I say that because I'm getting older.
Yeah, because so they would have, if they were born in 1856 and they lived 75 years, they would have died in 1931. And so let's say that they had a child at 40. So 1856 plus 40, that would have been 1896. So chances are that child wouldn't be with us anymore.
Yeah.
But the grandchild certainly is. And anyway, it just makes you think.
Well, get out there today, folks. I mean, this is our day to honor Dr. King, and get out there, And if you can't make it to one of the events, post something on your Facebook. Go and do a little research on the man. Show your knowledge, show your respects, and make your page about Dr. King today. I've been posting quotes and pictures and things like that. I feel like it's important that we don't lose that piece of our history. He really spoke to our greater humanity.
The
know?
thing that strikes me too, and I've said this before, the people who protested, they protested knowing that they'd be arrested and harassed or
And
worse. Yeah, or
Yeah.
had fire hoses turned on them. They put on their Sunday best, and they went to that lunch counter. They put on their Sunday best, and they locked arms and they marched. They were not violent. They did not. They did not do the kind of antics that you're seeing now for people who are protesting. People who are protesting things that they can't quite articulate.
Yeah.
But it was the image of people dressed up, being nonviolent, really doing things that white people could do without any problem, that set the world on fire.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King understood that. He understood the image on television. He understood that this was going to be difficult, but that it had to be done, and it had to be done in the way he was doing it.
Yeah.
Because if he had been violent, if the group had been violent, his followers, I don't think the outcome would have been the way what it was.
No, the message would have been lost because people would have been focused on the fear of the violence as opposed to what actually occurred. And what I love about the genius of Dr. King was that he forced people to see something that they had literally been turning a blind eye to for a century, which was the violence of the civil rights movement in terms of what was being
Jim Crow, the violence of Jim Crow.
Of what was happening. I'm sorry, not civil rights movement. Violence of what was happening in the African American community to African Americans, imposed by a legal system that the whites had developed called Jim Crow. And you could no longer turn a blind eye to it, right? I mean, they just exposed it front and center. Here it is.
And people sitting in their living rooms watching television were horrified, as they should have been.
Exactly. You know, when a woman can't just sit down anywhere on a bus without being yelled at and called names and arrested because she sat in the wrong seat.
When a black person could not sit at a lunch counter, without the same kind of behavior. You know, and you couldn't be a white person sitting with that black person either.
Yeah.
You know, that you would also be harassed and beaten and had things thrown at you and all of that. Now, today racism is different.
Yeah.
It's morphed. And are there racists out there? Yes, but I believe in every fiber of my being that the vast majority of Americans are decent people and want a free and equal society.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We will be right back.
At Grand Jewelers Pawn and Loan, we'll provide the emotional support and professional expertise to evaluate and purchase your diamonds and gold. I'm David Abrams, owner of Grand Jewelers Pawn and Loan, and for over 57 years, we've been advising and guiding our clients about buying and selling karat gold jewelry, diamonds, coins, and high-grade watches. If you've been thinking about how to go about selling your pieces, now is your opportunity to liquidate those pieces and put your newfound cash to work for you. If you don't know whom to trust when it comes to liquidating your jewelry assets, turn to Grand Jewelers Pawn and Loan in Rancho Cucamonga. We're professionals in the jewelry industry with over 110 years of combined expertise and knowledge, and we will empower you with the knowledge, enabling you to make a smart decision about liquidating your jewelry. Grand Jewelers Pawn and Loan, located in the Signature Center, Rancho Cucamonga, and we're open till 6 p.m. Monday to Saturdays and 5 p.m. on Sundays. Check us out on Yelp and Google. We're a 5-star rated family business, and we'd love to get to know you. Grand Jewelers, located in the Signature Center, Rancho Cucamonga.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the mall with a heart.
How would you feel if you had to make a choice between buying food or spending your fixed income on life-saving medicine? No one should make that trade-off, but many low-income seniors are forced into difficult decisions like this every day. Smiles for Seniors Foundation provides energy assistance and safety net services to struggling low-income seniors in the Inland Empire. They provide one-time assistance to seniors to meet specific financial needs. They've helped with food, housing, utility payments, minor home and auto repairs, along with life-saving prescriptions or medical equipment. A nonprofit foundation funded entirely by donations from local organizations. Smiles for Seniors receives no funding from the state or federal government. They are funded by local businesses and individuals like you with big hearts and willing wallets. You can find more information or to donate to Smile for Seniors at 909-790-6671. That's 909-790-6671, or visit smilesforseniorsfoundation.org. That's smilesforseniorsfoundation.org.
Hi, folks. If you're still paying for electricity every month, it means you haven't signed up for the Inland Empire's #1 money savings program offered by Horizon Solar Power. Just call to qualify your home, and Horizon will give you $100 plus pay your electric bill until 2020. It's that simple. Call, qualify, get $100, and no electric bill payments until 2020. So keep your money in your pocket and become energy independent today. Call 844-711-6996. That's 844-711-6996. Or click on one of our Stay Cool ads at KCAAradio.com.
This is KCAA.
Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep yourself respect. Your manly pride.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. We are playing music from the Civil Rights Movement, and that one was Someday We'll All Be Free, and it's Donny Hathaway. Apparently Aretha Franklin did a version of that, but I could not find it.
Couldn't find Aretha?
No, but her voice, I mean,
Yeah.
She's got the voice of an angel. So, yeah. We've been talking about Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and the incredible mark that he left not only on the United States but the world. You know, I mean, we talk about what it was like to sit in our homes and watch this, and of course Tobin and I were not born yet, but what Americans were watching this happen on their television screens.
Yeah.
But this was also being shown worldwide, and so, you know, and these kinds of struggles, it exist in every nation, and I'm saying this not to make excuses, but to offer some perspective.
Yeah.
Part of the human condition is that we're not very nice to each other.
It's true. Now, we actually have a story to talk about today that has to do with other folks protesting, and it's actually a conflict between two different protest groups and how the media has been portraying it, or maybe misportraying what actually happened, and it's complicated. And so some of you may have seen the memes and the stories popping up over the weekend about the Native American at the Washington Monument and this group of young Catholic students that were wearing Make America Great hats, the MAGA hats. And we're finally now hearing from the other side as well, from this young man and his family who basically over the weekend were characterized as a bunch of racist kids that were antagonizing and
kind of heckling
Native American protesters. And now, of course, these boys were actually in town with their school to do the March for Life. It's a pro-life march that they do annually in Washington, D.C.
Since the 70s.
Yeah. And so, again, you've got two different groups that have converged on Washington, D.C. for different political marches, for purposes, and there's a conflict. And, of course, what we got to see online was a short snippet of a video. And in the short snippet, the way it was edited, the way it was presented, it looked as if this boy was kind of staring down this Native American. But now we're beginning to hear a different side of that story. And we're seeing longer videotapes that suggest that the conflict was kind of mutual, that both sides were saying and doing things, and that there was actually a third group that was there that had actually kind of incited, a group of African Americans that had also started some saying some stuff because they didn't like the MAGA hats that the boys were wearing. And the young man who's primarily sort of been pulled out or called out in this particular incident has released a statement and basically said he was trying to calm things down, that he felt the best way to do this was just to not say anything, not to move, to be very still while this was happening, because he realized he was being filmed. But unfortunately for him, his facial expression, the way that he...
In his effort to put on a smiling, calm face, like we're friends. There's no, if you're trying to present a friendly, open visage on your face, right? A visage. Yeah. He came off looking smug.
He did, and and it's interesting. And this boy, of course, and his schoolmates, they're receiving death threats. And this is the problem with the way the internet works, right? This stuff goes viral, and people who weren't there, who weren't involved, who read into it, all of their own biases and whatever, now feel comfortable because of the kind of troll environment that's been created in our online world to now send, vicious hate mail to people that they don't even know.
Well, and more egregious than that is that every single major network ran with it.
Yeah.
And apparently didn't fact check a soul or a thing.
Yeah.
Like, let me get this video, thanks, let me put it on the air, and I'm going to write a story because they're wearing MAGA hats, and we don't like people who wear MAGA hats.
Well, and, the contrast of having a Native American, of course, the Native Americans were here first, and you've probably seen the memes of how they should have put up a wall,
Well, yeah. Yeah, and apparently, so according to the boys who were there, this Native American group was saying, go back to Europe, go home, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the kid said he never interacted with the protester. He didn't speak to him. He didn't make hand gestures or other aggressive moods. He was startled and confused as to why he'd been approached. The boys had already been yelled at by another group of protesters when the second group approached, and the main boy in the MAGA hat was worried that a situation was getting out of control, and the adults were trying to provoke the teenagers.
Yeah. He said, I said a silent prayer that the situation would not get out of hand. It speaks to the nature of these kids, right? They were there with essentially from a church school, right? There as part of a church group. And now I think also part of the reason the media ran with this is because the Native American in these pictures presents as sort of a compelling figure. He's a former Vietnam veteran, a person who has had some abuse in the past that I think was.
But the problem with that, all of that is true. All of those things may be true, and we're running over. We have to go to break. All of these things may be true, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's incumbent upon the major news sources. And I'm looking at an article from NBC News that they need to fact check. There were a lot of people there. They could have asked some more people what happened and presented the entire story, but they didn't even try.
Well, and get some more videos. Obviously, there's a lot more videos of what happened. Where's the other video showing if it in fact happened?
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292FQ Riverside, and K293CF Moreno Valley.
Super Bowl 53 is set. It'll be the Patriots and the Rams in Atlanta 2 Sundays from now to probably the greatest day of NFL Conference Championship games ever. For the first time ever, both title games going to overtime before being decided. In the AFC Final, New England 37-31 overtime winners at Kansas City. Tom Brady directed his 57th career game-winning drive. Tight end Rob Gronkowski with 6 catches, including a huge reception on 3rd and 10 on that game-winning march.
The way we fought this game, couldn't be more proud to be on this team. More proud to be out there with the boys, how hard we just kept fighting defense, offense, special teams.
The Patriots' opponent, the Rams, who 17 years ago New England upset to begin their run of 5 Super Bowl titles under Brady and Coach Bill Belichick. Los Angeles was a 26-23 overtime winner in New Orleans in the NFC final. The game will also be remembered for a controversial no-call pass interference that went against the Saints. In the final 2 minutes, Greg Zuerlein kicked a 57-yard game-winning field goal in the extra period. Matt Stewart, NBC News Radio.
It's time to take a look at our roadways. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona on the 91 westbound at Green River Road, a stalled box truck is blocking the second lane from the right. Stop-and-go traffic is backed up then from Auto Center Drive in Riverside. In Lake Elsinore on the 15 northbound at Nichols Road, an accident has been cleared. This has been your traffic report. Drive carefully, everyone. I'm Erin Brinker, and this is KCAA.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. On this King Day, sunshine, maybe a shower in spots, high 58. High wind watch for San Bernardino County tonight, low 44 with clear skies. Tuesday, sunshine, a high of 62. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM, Riverside, 106.5 FM, Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email ceo@kcaaradio.com. Drivers, when it's time to visit the DMV, avoid the long lines and save time by calling toll-free 833-DMV-LINE. That's 833-DMV-5463.
News, weather, and talk from KCAA 102.3 FM, broadcasting to the Moreno Valley, Corona, and Riverside.
It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. I usually don't repeat songs in a single broadcast, but I love this song.
Yeah.
First of all, I love Sam Cooke, but second of all, this song gives me goosebumps every time I hear it.
Yeah. So before the break, we were talking about this incident in Washington, D.C., between these two competing sort of marches that were going on there. This young man from the Catholic Church, from a Catholic school, and Native Americans. And one of the things that struck me about this whole thing, and the way our social media works right now, is how both sides are only going to see the side of the story that they believe.
It's true.
You know?
But do you blame them? I mean, the media has created this.
Yeah. Here's
the thing. It's no secret to anyone that the mainstream media, the major networks, lean to the left, and maybe people on the far left think that they're not left enough, but they do lean left. Period. They're no fans of the president, especially. Well, CNN. I mean, every stinking story out of CNN is Trump bad,
yeah.
And so it's like they don't even try anymore. They don't even try. They didn't send anybody down to interview anyone else or to get any other video or anything. It's like it's become gossip. So when you read a major newspaper or read the 4 major television networks, you don't know what you're reading.
Yeah.
And so do people only believe their side? Yeah, because, well, even the major news sources seem like propaganda.
Well, and again, there's kind of a sorting thing that happens in terms of what pops up in your news feed, and people that are on the right are going to have certain things going to pop up. So they're going to get the story that sort of exonerates this young man in the school and says that, no, there's a lot more to it. The people on the left are only going to see the story that said that the Native American was, sort of being abused by these kids. And you're going to have people that have, on both sides, I think, that don't have complete information, right? And aren't willing or able to sort of see the story from the other side's point of view. And that is something that's really frustrating to me, And so big events happen, and both sides get a different set of facts, and they're not really facts, but they're presented as facts.
When I say, well, yes, they have a different set of facts and a whole different kind of interpretation.
Yes.
It used to be, and it's, the elephant, you always see the blind man and the elephant as the example, right?
Yep.
And so that you have 5 blind men sitting around or 3 blind men sitting around an elephant, and each grabs a different part of the elephant, and they're trying to describe what it is. And the reality is it was all of the things that each one said that it was.
Yes.
And all of them were right. Unfortunately, we have forgotten that we're looking at an elephant.
Yes.
Nothing in this world is that clear cut where you could say him good, him bad. I mean, unless it's like Nazis, but we're talking about in the normal the course of business.
Yeah.
These kids were wearing MAGA hats, and you don't like people who wear MAGA hats. You're going to tell the story a particular way.
Yeah. Well, and they don't like the pro-life movement as well. I mean, let's be honest. There's
talk about there was no coverage for the March for Life except on conservative outlets.
Yeah.
Now, this March for Life has been attracting thousands and thousands of people to Washington, D.C. every single year since like 1974.
Yeah.
And it gets crickets from the media. And then the Women's March, man, that is groundbreaking. Whoa, nobody's ever come together like this before. Wow, aren't we wonderful? We kill babies. Woo!
So how do you really feel? Yeah.
Especially when the two of the 3 leaders of this group, Tamika Mallory and Linda Sarsour, are unapologetic anti-Semites.
I know.
Unapologetic.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because they lean left, so we're not going to worry about it then.
Yeah. Well, because they're not wearing white hoods and marching with burning crosses, right? Because they're nice, well-spoken women, we can't, discount them. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
when given the opportunity to walk back from their anti-Semitism, they equivocate.
They were given multiple opportunities.
Yes.
They were basically begged to walk it back, and neither of them would do it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's why they lost this big group of
the celebrities and the Jewish women.
Jewish women said, we're not going to participate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
so
you like Louis Farrakhan, who calls us termites that need to be exterminated. That's generally considered a bad thing.
Yeah.
And yet the major networks are fawning all over this movement that they started.
Yeah.
And this movement, with these vague ideas, basically they hate Trump. That's what the movement's about. And they want to make sure that anybody can have an abortion at any point in their pregnancy.
Well, and they have those really funny looking hats.
Yes. It's true.
Although I will tell you, and again, I want to try to be as fair as possible here. I have some female friends who have participated in the Women's March and have been greatly inspired and enthused by this movement that has energized them to get politically active and politically involved.
Okay, so I have 2. I'm really talking about their leadership.
Yeah, and so in terms of anything that gets people excited about engaging in policy issues and engaging in the community, even if I disagree with them, right? Even if there's someone who I don't agree with their politics, whatever, I want people involved. Politics works better when you have more people involved, And so to that degree, I think there's a positive. And so I give kudos to those female friends of mine, and some men, but mostly women that I've seen that have really gotten involved. And I know it's funny you call it a women's march, but there are actually quite a few men that are marching.
I didn't call it the women's march.
No. They call it the women's march,
right.
but there are actually quite a few men who march in solidarity with them, and so it's interesting to see how all that plays out.
Well, and the biggest thing not the biggest thing. So one of the things that irritates me about the Women's March is, the people who, and the leftists in general when it comes to reproductive rights, is that they grasp onto the Handmaid's Tale. Now, in the Handmaid's Tale, women were forced to be pregnant. That has never happened in the United States. Yeah. We have never, ever rounded women up and forced them to be pregnant. Never. Yeah. It's never happened. That was fiction. It's not happening now. It didn't happen at any point in our history.
Yes.
So, did we have arranged marriages? Yes, that has existed in every culture. At some point in every culture's history, they've had a system where women were kind of traded, and that's true. But it's not true today.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And if you look around the world
in our country,
if you look around the world at countries that are generally democratic and generally capitalist, those things don't fly at all.
No.
It's the old world countries where they're autocratic, that they have top down sort of structures, and systems in their government, and their culture, where that stuff's still going on. Once you give people freedom and the ability to choose how to spend their money and how to vote,
how to earn their money,
that level of freedom, all that stuff goes away.
It does. Well, and the thing that I don't understand when it comes to the Women's March, Linda Sarsour is a proponent of Sharia. And so, how can you be both pro, you say that America is this oppressive place and it's awful and horrible and we need to reform everything, but by the way, we need to have Sharia, because if you haven't noticed, women aren't treated very well in the Middle East.
I've heard about that.
So yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I guess the best message for me is that I'm not a victim.
Yeah,
I'm not a victim. And I certainly think that, like every person still needs to stand up for themselves, and every person still needs to take personal responsibility for their lives. And if there's something that is unfair, then yeah, you push back against it. But to act like America is the most oppressive place right now in this point in time, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
So, and specifically, I'm speaking about women. I've never been African American, and so I cannot speak to the experience that they have, but I can speak to experience of being female. And yeah, we're not oppressed, gang. We're really not. The issues of poverty in for women is those issues go away if a woman gets an education, waits till she gets married to have children, and stays married. You will not be in poverty generally if those things happen.
Yes. Thank you.
So,
thank you for getting the education. Thank you for marrying me.
Yay.
Thank you.
So does that mean that you're going to be like the Rockefellers? No, but most Americans aren't like the Rockefellers.
Yeah.
Or the Gates or, whatever. So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
Looking for a new place to eat? Delicious food at a great value? The Tri-City Center in Redlands is proud to announce the grand opening of a fine new dining establishment. Terry's Diner, at the former location of the Spunky Steer in Redlands, is officially open for business daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. with delicious, mouth-watering breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Treat yourself to Terry's tasty dessert menu, such as Terry's famous sundaes, banana splits, hot fudge cake, old-fashioned root beer floats, frosties, cakes, and pies, too. You'll find weekly lunch and dinner specials, all under $10, including Angus steaks, burgers, Greek salads, pasta seafoods, with wine and beer. Terry's brings years of tasty temptations from DJs in San Bernardino and Alta Loma. Join a new tradition in Redlands. Stop by at 1350 Industrial Park Avenue between Tennessee and Alabama in the Tri-City Center. Google Terry's Diner Redlands on Yelp or find them terrysdinerredlands.com.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Akana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from See's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the Mall with a Heart.
Being ready is more than a state of mind. It's the difference between dreaming and doing, between potential and professional. Nobody is born ready, but with a career education from an Inland Empire Desert Region Community College, you can make your next career move with confidence. Launch an in-demand career right away or save thousands while you earn credits toward a future-ready bachelor's degree. Ready to enroll? Browse community college career education programs in your area at readysetcareer.org.
This is KCAA.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And we are playing music that kind of represents the civil rights movement. That was Marvin Gaye. That particular song, one of the bands that I was in, we actually did that song. I love that song.
It's a nice song.
It's a nice song.
So another little Martin Luther King Day announcement. Kamala Harris is running for president, Aaron. Senator Kamala Harris.
Freshman Senator Kamala Harris.
She's new to that gig.
Okay, but do I think that she should run at some point? Yes. But this idea that
the fierce urgency of now.
Right. How do I say this? She was Attorney General in California for one term, right? Mm-hmm. And then she went to the Senate. She was elected to the Senate, and she's still in her first term.
Yeah.
And now she wants to be president.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for people who know what the heck they're doing. And don't say, oh, but Trump, blah, blah. I didn't vote for Trump, so that argument's not going to work on me.
Yeah.
But I do have a problem with people who, Beto O'Rourke was, he was a junior congressman.
Yeah.
And Julian Castro, I think is running, he was the mayor of San Antonio, which is a mid-sized city. And then he was put into the Obama administration as
for HUD.
For HUD, he was the HUD administrator.
HUD secretary, yeah.
HUD secretary.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to be running for president. It's like, what?
So
Come on.
She's 54 years old. She made her announcement this morning on Good Morning America, and said that I love my country and that this is a moment in time that I feel a sense of responsibility to fight for the best of who we are. and she wants to run an aspirational campaign. That's why she's announcing on Martin Luther King Day, right? Because she wants to capture that sort of positive theme. Apparently her logo is based off of Shirley Chisholm's logo. Shirley Chisholm was the first African-American woman to run for president. And so she's trying to sort of capture that moment, that tie in with history. We saw that Obama did something similar. You know, he made his announcement in Springfield, Illinois, the home of Abraham Lincoln, and his announcement speech was sort of an echo to some of the stuff that Lincoln said, and sort of trying to hearken back. And you know, it's interesting how we play that. She's also, there's some commentary on her ethnicity. She's biracial. Her parents were immigrants from Jamaica and India, which makes her only the second black woman and first South Asian American senator to serve in the Senate. And of course, within Democratic politics, identity is very important. You mentioned Julian Castro, right?
Yes.
He's going to play up his Hispanic roots.
And he's a real Hispanic, unlike Beto O'Rourke, who is an Irishman.
Yes.
Robert O'Rourke,
yes,
who just happens to be from El Paso.
Yes. And so it's going to be fascinating as these campaigns really begin to get off the ground, to see who gets traction and why. Kamala Harris presents an interesting candidate because she's coming from a law enforcement background. And, of course, a lot of the energy on the left has really sort of been anti-law enforcement, right? And so there's some questions about how does she thread that needle, and she's got a good answer to that. I mean, she's essentially saying that people want law enforcement. What they don't want, she says, is most communities want law enforcement. They don't want excessive force. They don't want racial profiling. But then nobody should, right? And
right. Well, and she's got a point. I don't disagree. Everybody wants to know that if they get into trouble, that help is nearby.
Yes.
There's not a person that doesn't want that.
Yeah.
But they don't want oppressive. They don't want the Gates LAPD in the early 1990s.
Yeah. They don't want to be pulled over for no reason with the assumption that you're guilty of something.
Right.
And if you're not guilty of something, I'll plant some evidence on you to make you guilty of something.
Right, give you a shakedown. And yes, that's there's a reason why the NWA came out with the song F the Police.
Yeah.
Now, do I think that was the right approach? No, but they were angry and that was their truth. Right?
Right.
So
anyway, it just makes for an interesting campaign. And welcome to the race. I think, what are we up to, like 50 people now? I'm teasing a little bit.
Well, the thing that you and I were talking about, though, it's going to be like the Republicans last time, where everybody who knew what they were doing, everybody who was a good solid candidate was bumped off, and we got Trump.
Yeah.
Now, you and I have talked about not being fans of the president. There are some things that he's done that I really like. I like his Supreme Court justices, although I wish that that the most recent one, oh my gosh, Brett Kavanaugh, were a little more conservative. He's really not, but Neil Gorsuch certainly is. And there's some other things. The president has actually been a lot more pro-life than I thought he would be, and so I like that. But he's a bull in a china shop. He makes things up. He treats people pretty abominably if they don't kiss the ring. And there's all kinds of other flaws in there. Do I think he's a bigot? I think he's coy to bigots. I think he wants to be loved so much that he'll overlook any kind of bad behavior if they ingratiate themselves with him.
Yeah, I think you're being too kind. I think the man's a bigot, but
I'm trying to walk that line. I'm not a fan, but I'm trying to walk that line.
Yeah, and I love it when people point out that in the past he had all these great relationships with all these African American athletes and stars and all this stuff, and
he just liked the star power,
and they gave him awards and stuff. And they liked him because of his money and his wealth. That they got invited to his opulent parties, and it was a nice, glorious circle of self-love. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, that was kind of loud.
Yeah. No. Exactly. And so
I'm thinking of the other word for what you just said.
Yes. Thank you very much. And so they, that's why they all kind of put up with each other. But once he was exposed politically, these people, we got to see his true colors.
I got to think, though, that we're going to see the entree of another African-American woman into this presidential race.
Yeah? You think Michelle Obama?
I do. I do think yeah.
By the way, her book is
soaring.
Busting the
every
records.
record.
Yeah.
She's wildly popular.
She is. The thing is, I've never seen the political ambition in her at all. Hillary, it was so apparent from the get-go.
Yeah, just naked ambition is Hillary. In the dictionary, under naked ambition is her picture.
But in many ways, Michelle Obama seemed very reticent to sort of be that person in the political sphere, that she really just tried to do her thing and be with her kids and not.
Yeah, but her kids are basically grown.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that I never in any of her public appearances ever got the sense that this was something that she truly enjoyed and wanted to spend her time doing. That unlike her husband, who really, I think, thrives in those political moments, she seemed to be very reluctant about them, which I think is part of her appeal, that she seems very genuine in just sort of being a normal person, not wanting to be that person, out there. It does it, but not really wanting to be that person.
But don't you see, I think she's got a very strong sense of duty.
Yeah.
And I could see her seeing that she needs to step in because, if you are a Democrat looking at this presidency, you're going to see, and it's obvious people are very vocal about what they think they see, which is, the rolling back of all the gains that Obama made, the way that they would define gains.
I would be deeply upset if she ran, mostly from the standpoint of I'm sick of this idea of this kind of aristocracy, right? That we've got this elite political class, and these are our rulers, our betters.
Okay, but you know what, Tobin? We have an elite political class.
And we need to, and Trump was a bit of a in your face about that.
Yes,
but even he is a billionaire.
And there's pictures of the Clintons at his third wedding. I mean, it's not. This guy wasn't an outsider. I know that was how he was billed, but he was a political outsider, meaning he'd never run for office, but he was so intertwined with the elite. Come on.
I know, but again. I would love to see us begin to shake this idea that, I don't want a king where the king's family is the one that's always ruling us.
I agree with you.
We don't need more Bushes. We don't need more Clintons. We don't need more Obamas. We need different people. This is the idea of our country. We got a country with 300 million people. You're telling me there's nobody else out there who could do this job? Yeah. And a part of the reason I think Michelle doesn't get in is because they're going to have 50 billion people on the Democratic side already running. She'll find somebody that's in there that she likes, and they'll get behind them and work for them.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know.
And with that, it might be Kamala for them.
Okay. With that, we're at the end of our show for today. We're actually running out of time. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Julia Borston, CNBC. Consumers are about to get even more options for streaming video. In addition to Disney Plus and AT&T's streaming video service set to launch later this year, NBC Universal is working on a streaming service to launch in 2020. Unlike Netflix, ad-free subscription, this one will be free and ad-supported for anyone who subscribes to cable or satellite TV. For those that don't pay for a TV bundle, they'll be able to pay about $12 a month for access to this upcoming service, which will have both live TV, news, and sports, as well as hundreds of hours of Universal movies and 15 hours of NBC TV shows. But the real goal of this service is to give subscribers to the TV bundle more value to keep them hooked, and also to tap into demand for premium digital ads. NBC Universal CEO Steve Burke saying he expects to generate about $5 in revenue a month per user from just 3 to 5 minutes of ads per hour. We'll see what this and the other new entries mean for Netflix and Amazon Prime Video. Julia Borston, CNBC.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Grainger stands for safety, and they know what safety stands for. S, safety. A, all about safety. F, feeling good about safety. E, extreme safety. T, talking about safety. Y, you guessed it, safety. First aid kits, eye wash stations, fire protection, you name it. For over 90 years, they've been helping to keep facilities safe and people safer. When it comes to safety, Grainger's got your BACK. Call or click Grainger.com to see for yourself. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's time to take a look at our roadways. I'm Erin Brinker. In Corona on the 91 westbound at Green River Road, a stalled box truck is blocking the second lane from the right. Stop-and-go traffic is backed up from Auto Center. In Lake Elsinore on the 15 northbound at Nichols Road, an accident has been cleared. This has been your traffic report. Drive carefully, everyone. I'm Erin Brinker, and this is KCAA.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. And then there were two. The Rams and the Patriots will play in Super Bowl 53 on February 3rd.